Welcome back, everybody. We're going into the Fated One of Guiding Star Welstra Blitz Arms. If you guys aren't familiar, this is a really cool deck that involves work using product cards to reduce your enemy's forces, deal damage, subtract power, draw you cards, deck thin. It's a really cool and fun, intricate deck. I've been playing since the original Welstra, but I really got on the grind of playing this deck once the Divine Welstra came out, because around that time there was the Vanguard Premier League, which was an online tournament hosted by a Vanguard creator, and I was like, yeah, I could bring this for a round and it'll be fine. And I brought it for like 2 or 3 rounds. I had a lot of fun with this deck. It's very entertaining. So with that, we're just gonna go on in and get onto the profile. So the ride line's pretty simple. We have my boy Warden. I love this starter. I don't know why people don't like him. Uh, we got Strazer, who is, when you ride over him, you get to Soul Blast 1 and add a product card from your deck to hand equal to your opponent's Vanguard's grade, which, so if I'm going first, I'm grabbing a grade 1 order. If I'm going second, I'm grabbing a grade 2 order, which is kind of nice. And then we have Uber, which is on attack to Energy Blast 3 and operate one product card in your order zone, which will normally be Lubetzel. So it's basically going to be an Energy Blast 3 to draw a card, but we'll get there when we get there. And then when he is ridden over by Welstra, you Soul Blast 1, discard a card from your hand, which is kind of a heavy cost, but you get to grab two product cards with different names from your deck to your hand that are not in your order zone. So you'll normally grab out the grade 3 ones because they won't be in your order zone. And then lastly, we have Divine Welstra. So he has a once per game divine skill, which is Counterblast 1. You get to put two different named product cards into your order zone. Mind you, it's put, not play, so you'll still get to play order for turn after this, which is really nice. But this also means you can throw in orders that can't normally be played in the order zone. And then you get to operate one of your product cards in there, which will normally be between maximum to kill a card or Lubetzel to look at top 5 and call a card. Again, we'll get there when we get there. But his other ability is for an Energy Blast 2 on attack, you get to operate one of your product cards and he gets plus 10k. So he swings for 23 and he gets your deck going even more than it was already going, which is really nice. So that is it for that. This profile is going to be a little weird. I'm going to do instead of by grade, I'm going to do sort of a weird order. We're going to show off the three that we play three more Persona rides. It's just, you, if you can, you play them, right? And we're going to go straight to our product cards. So we have 3 copies of Freischütz Maximum. So what this does is it can't be normal played into the order zone, meaning you need the divine skill to set it, or you need another card to specifically set it. And its other ability is when it's operated, you get to retire one of your opponent's rear guards and minus their Vanguard's power by 5k, which is insane, especially because even if they don't have rear guards, you're still going to minus them by 5k. Uh, but the I think the craziest part and like the coolest part that drove me to play this deck originally was after you do that, you can pay a counterblast to 1 to bounce a rearguard to hand and then call this to the field as a 23k attacker. I just think it's really cool. You just get to call out a giant like gunship and just like be like, hey, poke. But it's really cool. This card's really good. I play 3 just for the guarantee that I see 2 copies of it, because in this version that I'm playing, I want to see 2 copy, or I want to have 2 copies in my order zone by turn 3. So we got 2 copies of Satellite Cannon Uriante. Uh, when it's put in the order zone, you get to energy charge 3 and draw 1. And then when it's operated, which is important, this card can't be operated the turn that you put it down. So it's basically just an energy blast or energy charge 3 to draw 1. You have to wait till turn 4 for it to actually do its thing, which is if it's operated by your Vanguard specifically. So only only the big man upstairs. Only he gets to operate this one. Uh, you get to minus your opponent's Vanguard's power by 10, which is insane. Kill one of their rear guards, which I mean, he does that too. But and then if your opponent's at 4 or less damage, you deal them a damage. So if your opponent's at exactly 4, they're like, then you look at their hand. Their hand's really small. You get to just swing, ping them for a damage, and take a bunch of power, and they're just sitting there like, well, there goes all my defensive plans. It's a really cool card. We'll definitely be playing more of it in the future, but we'll get to that later this year. We got 4 copies of Lubetzel. This card, when this card and the grade 2 that came out with it first came out in set 9, I believe it was the original set 9. It was such an insane. They were custom cards for this deck, but it's basically when it's put into the order zone, you draw a card and soul charge a card, which is just that's really good. It helps you get more cards to hand, and you go through soul like you wouldn't believe. And then it has an operate when it's operated. It's got 2 different operates. So if you operate it during your main phase, you're looking at top 5 to call a card with a greater, less than, or equal to your Vanguard, which is really cool. It helps you find the couple pieces that you're looking for if you don't have them. Um, it's basically with his divine skill, when you counterblast in set 2, the determination of whether you operate this or this depends on if you've seen pieces or not. So if you haven't seen your pieces, you're operating this to look at top 5 and hopefully find the card you're looking for. Uh, but if it's operated during battle phase, you get to draw a card, which sometimes comes up. It's not very often. Most games, if I'm in battle phase and I'm operating maximum to try to force my opponent to take more damage or to use more cards in their hand. And lastly, we have the company's dog, Eingarden. So Eingarden, he's similar to Maximum, where he can be called out as a unit, but he also gets boost, and he's only like 10k, which is cute. But realistically, what he's more used for is when he's discarded, you can either set him to the order zone or you can put him into soul. For me, he normally goes into soul because I like the extra soul. Uh, it's not bad. I mean, it's just kind of what the deck needs. We need to get soul any way we can. So I'll play one of brick if I have to. We'll go on to the rest of the deck though, and we're gonna talk about the single most important card of this deck, which is Freiheit. So Freiheit has, again, this was one of the custom cards in set 9. Freiheit's ability is when he's placed, you counterblast 1, drop a card from hand, search your deck for either a product or a Welstra, so you can get your Persona Ride to hand. Uh, Add it to hand, and then you can just put an order from your or a product from your hand into your order zone. So this is how you get past Maximum's restriction of not being able to play it, but also you can literally turn 4, if you're like, I don't need Maximum anymore, you can just use his ability and find Lubetzel, or you could even find another satellite cannon and just be like, hey, I'm just gonna draw a card and get a resource back, and I can still play an order for turn, so I'll play Lubetzel or something else. It's insanely good. But the other really good part about it is when it attacks, you can Soul Blast 2 to operate an order card. So this is your main battle phase. Well, I mean, your Vanguard is too, but this is your main battle phase way to operate Maximum along with your Vanguard. So this will help you do a 5 attack uh, turn on turn 3 while minusing your opponent's Vanguard, getting rid of any of their rear guards, all off Welstra and Maximum, and this guy, obviously. Uh, the other one we have, it's not a great one, but we are playing 2 copies of Troll. So Troll is also a battle phase operate a product, but it's for a counterblast, which isn't super great, and I'm not very fond of it. but there are times when you randomly have a counterblast to spare, and you can kind of make it work. She also swings for 15, which is kind of nice, but you've kind of gotta you kind of gotta use her sparingly. A lot of times she does end up just getting discarded because she's the not most useful card in my hand. But I like having it, just to guarantee that I will be doing at minimum a 4 attack turn with if I don't see this, which brings up the Regalis piece. I'm playing Twin Cast. Now here's the thing. I feel like with the Regalis piece, you have to play Twin Cast or you have to play Fire Regalis for this deck, just because well, one's a Blitz order, so it doesn't interfere with what you're trying to do. And the other one can activate from graveyard. I mean, this one can do, but the Fire Regalis can activate from graveyard. But if you don't see Fire Regalis or your combo piece by turn 3, if you see it later, it just doesn't matter. So I'd rather have, and also you got to keep in mind with Lubetzel and other things, you'll be soul charging a lot, so you could just hit it there, and you don't have a way to blast it out during main phase. So I'd rather play a 10k shield that can be a 15k shield in my graveyard. Um, it's the Regalis piece is very weird for this deck. Basically, if you're playing Fire Regalis or you're playing this, I think you're playing the best ones that you can. But I'm personally leaning towards this one right now. So that'll be it for the grade 2s. We're going on to a massive grade 1 section. Like, oh my goodness. Let me get all these guys. We have 4 copies of Fenrita. Fenrita is another custom card for this deck. I probably sling that term around a little too much, but like when this got shown off in the show, and then on the following Tuesday stream, I was like, they want this deck to be good. Like they are gunning for this deck. They're hoping it's good. But if she's discarded and your Vanguard's Welstra, you get to call her out for free. So if you discard her for riding up, if you discard her off the grade 2 from the ride line, if you discard her for uh, Freiheit, she is coming back as long as you're on Welstra, which is insane. But the good part about her, the really good part about her, is you can Energy Blast 4 to operate a product equal to your opponent's Vanguard's grade. So similar to the grade 1, if you're going first, you're operating Lubetzel because your opponent's at grade 2. But if you're going second, or if it's turn 4, you're operating Maximum. And then if you picked Maximum off this card's ability, you reduce the counterblast by 1 for its ability, which is it's so nice because sometimes it does feel like you just burn through all your counterblasts and you're just kind of sitting there like, oh boy, well, hopefully you're dying in these next couple turns. This deck isn't really built to play the long game. It's just built to try to finish things by turn 4. It's how do I put it? It's like a less effective like Odium or Blankdemeyer, where those decks are like, well, we're killing you on turn 4. Where this deck is kind of like, I would like you to be dead by turn 4, and if it works out, it works out. But yeah, this card's super good. Followed up by this little guy. So he's a promo. He was really hard to get for the longest time. I'm so glad he was in Festival. Uh, he gets 5k shield if your Vanguard is a Blitz, which is nice because you have a little more shield value. But the big thing about him is when he's discarded, whether that's for ride, for card effects, whatever, you can put him to soul, which you need soul in this deck, which is good. And you can either energy charge, I believe it's 2, energy charge 2 or counter charge 1. Now, most of the time I end up going for the uh, counter charge because counter charge is really important in this deck. But there was one game where I was able to hit another copy of the satellite cannon, and I had another copy of her. So I did the discard for this off of like Freiheit, so that I could energy charge and then operate Maximum twice during the main phase, which is it was pretty good. It won me the game, but it doesn't it, that the energy charge doesn't come up that often. It's definitely more the counter charge for sure. Because this spot used to be Bulble Mine, but this card kind of flows with the deck a little bit better. And then two copies of Varnist. This card, I love this card, and I kind of hate this card. So the cool thing about it is on play, I believe it's only on play from hand. You get to take an order card in your drop zone. You either put it to the bottom of your deck or you put it to Soul. Normally it ends up going to Soul because why would I not want to have more Soul in a deck that's desperate for it? But the other thing that it does is when your Vanguard attacks, you can Soul Blast one and retire it to operate a product card. So with the original line that this deck was under, on your turn 4, when you would use the satellite cannon, you would only get 4 attacks because the satellite cannon could only be operated by Welstra. So instead of blasting for him to operate maximum and have the 5th attack, this, however, makes it so you can get that 5th attack. So when your Vanguard will swing, you'll Soul Blast 1, you'll operate maximum, you'll call it to the field to get that 5th attack, and then you'll use Vanguard's Energy Blast 2 to get 10k and operate Uriante minus 10k. It's nice. It's nice. It's just the only thing that I don't like about this card is it costs soul, but this card is really good, and I cannot deny that part. And lastly, we got the 4 perfect guards. To be honest, it's this is a deck that it almost doesn't matter whether you're playing this or not, because sometimes you'll get really low in hand, so you might want the extra regular perfect guard, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's kind of up to your personal preference, which mine is I like this deck a lot, so I put a Elementaria Sanctitude in it. And the last part is the triggers. The trigger lineup is interesting. So we got the I'm not a big fan of this card. I'm really not. This card wins games all the time, but I feel like I never see him. Like if I switch this to Blue OT, I would see this card, or I would see my Overtrigger way more in games. Elder Breath just doesn't show up, but when he does show up, he does just kind of end the game, so it almost makes it worth it. So when if you go to build this deck, this is something to consider, but also think about the Blue OT because it can get you back cards from your graveyard. I'm playing 8 critical in this build. Again, we're not here to play the long game. We're trying to kill our opponent. But I think in the future, these might be swapped out to the front triggers that go to Soul. Because again, Soul is a very uh, sparse commodity in this deck because you use it for a lot of things. Uh, we got 4 draw triggers. There's not really a nicer way to say this than this deck desperately needs to see its pieces. I know it's not the greatest argument as to why you play draw triggers, but genuinely, like, you need to find your cards. And then 4 heals. If you want effect heals, you play effect heals. I'm just going to keep playing the 15k shield because I think it's better. And that wraps up this deck profile. I can really quickly, if I grab a couple guys, um, I can show you kind of what the setup is gonna look like. So we'll get one of you. We'll get one of you. Uh, we'll grab these two. One of those technically doesn't matter, and we'll just have these. And we'll throw Persona Rides into damage, so we at least have them, right? Well, damage is a little hard to see outside of the frame, so we'll announce the counterblast and we'll go from there, right? So if you have, maybe I should rotate this around. Let's do that so you can, yeah. So like that'll be here. We'll put some of the orders here. Maybe scoot you down a little more and just like call out like these cards. Bada bing, bada boom, easy. So there's 2 ways that your turn can kind of go, right? So your turn can either go like on turn 3, because you won't have access to Uriante, your general pattern is going to be something like swing with this, operate maximum to kill something, don't call it out. Swing with this, and bounce this back to hand, call out maximum. You can also boost for these, boosting is totally fine. And then swing with this to operate maximum, again, call this out. These go back to your hand. So that's your like basic turn 3. If you got to use this ability to Energy Blast 4 and operate maximum, it'll cost you a counter blast less. So this is off of technically 3 counter blast because of divine skill, but if you had a way to countercharge, then it is off of 2 counter blast, which is really cool. And then if you are on turn 4 and you have Varnus, the setup that you can do is you can blast to operate maximum, reducing the counter blast cost. You will swing with this, operate maximum to kill something, so your opponent's down by 10. Swing with this. I mean, again, you can boost if wherever you want to. The Soul Blast 2, operate maximum, call back a maximum, and this will go back to your hand. And then Welstra does his swing. You Soul Blast 1 for Varnest and retire him to operate maximum to bounce this back and down your opponent by another 5. So that puts them negative 15, or that minuses them by 15. And then you can use Welstra to operate Uriante and minus them by 10 and potentially deal damage depending on what their stats are. So that's kind of the go-to combo that you're looking for, the or go-to setup, whichever you want. It doesn't matter if you have 2 of these, or it doesn't matter if you have one of each of these. If you have 2 of these, it's rough because you're going to burn through a lot of your counterblast. But if as long as you have the soul and you call 2 of these out, you're looking fine. Honestly, it does not matter who is the battle phase operator, just as long as you have one. And yeah, that is it for this profile. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one, and we'll probably talk about Welstra again in December when his new stuff comes out. So thanks again. Take care.